Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm back here at McDonald Nissan in Denver to have a look at this beauty right here. This is the 2025 Nissan Armada, but not the regular Armada. This is the one you want, or at least the one I want, the Pro4X, the off-road version of this vehicle. So what we're gonna do in this video, I actually think this looks better than the Infiniti QX80. I don't know, I just prefer this styling overall. So what we're gonna do, have a look at the front end design. Very chiseledness that goes on here. I still like these old school Pathfinder graphics that we have here, for example. We're gonna look at the front end, the side, the rear, the interior, and then of course, we're gonna take it for a drive. Now, before we look at this beautiful design for 2025 for the Armada, just look at the chiseledness, for example, of the headlights here. More on that in just a second. We need to check out what is actually hiding under the hood. We have a 3.5 liter twin turbo V6 putting out 425 horsepower, 516 pound-feet of torque. It is connected to a 9-speed automatic transmission. Obviously, you do have all-wheel drive with this one. 0 to 60 in about 6.2 seconds. Towing capacity 8,500 pounds. Fuel economy comes in at 15 city, 18 highway, and the price for this specific one in this beautiful deep ocean blue pearl with the black wheels there comes out at $81,564. You do have rear locking diff, you have full metal skid plates in the front end to cover the oil pan and the fuel tank. So this is a proper, I would call it a proper off-roader. When you have it in the highest ride height, for example, you do get up to 11 inches of ground clearance, which is not bad at all for a full-size big SUV like this. So with that said, let's close down the hood. Talk about what is going on with the 2025 Armada design. First of all, the front end. Now, as I said, I think this one looks way better than the QX80 because I like the chiseledness better here than the smooth surfacing that we have all over the QX80, for example. Now, the reason I prefer the Armada over the Infiniti QX80 is very, very simple. I do like you can see the Armada right here. It has a way more chiseled design, and we have this nice starting point up top where all the graphics happen underneath it. We have a clear separation with the bumper. We have a clear opening in the lower section as well, and the headlights, as you can see, are not proper bumper headlights. We have more chiseledness going on here as well in these headlights. Compare that to what's going on in the QX80 down here. A lot more organic design. We don't have this nice starting point up top that I want to see. We have more of a dip in this area, then goes into the grille and then comes back in the daytime run light up here. So not a straight line up top. And you also have the bumper headlights, which I've never really been a huge fan of here. I definitely prefer the Armada headlights up top, but the grille looks fine. The only thing I'm a little bit confused about with the QX80 is how this area, this lower section, looks way too out of place. This intake, it does not feel like it suits the overall design. It feels like it's just an intake that they had to slap on in the front end. Now, looking at the interiors, and again, the reason why I prefer the Armada here instead of the QX80 is very, very simple. If you look at this area of the QX80, everything is inside of the software for the climate settings right here. We don't have any physical buttons for that. This area looks a lot cleaner, or a lot more luxurious, of course, like you want to have in a Infiniti compared to a Nissan. But I would still prefer to sit inside of the Armada because look at this. We have all of these beautiful physical buttons inside of this. I don't like the gloss plastic, but I do love that we have the physical buttons, and that is the main reason, honestly, why in most cases I prefer the lower trim levels of cars like this, because they usually, more often than not, they have the physical buttons still intact, while the more expensive ones still have everything being integrated in the software like we have here on the QX80. We have the big grille in the front end, everything being completely functional here. Gloss black grille, I love to see it. And also these, as I talked about, the old Pathfinder graphics. Of course, these are not functional, they're just for styling purposes, but it brings back some of the heritage from the old Nissan SUVs and so on. Now, looking at the headlight unit, this is a super chiseled design. I mean, check this out. I might want to, I don't know, because this is the biggest SUV. It looks great having it be static like this. What I mean by that is having the LED be the exact same thickness all around, because it is the big brother. I think it suits it, but it would be nice to have it be maybe a little thicker here, for example, going to thin, just to add a little bit of dynamic feeling to this design. Now, we do have the main headlights here, full LED, of course, in the blacked out housing, and we have the fog lights all the way down here. One detail I don't really understand here though, if you look at the plastic situation that we have going on here. Now the top half of the lower section of the plastic is not body color or painted at all. This is just regular old plastic with the parking sensors here. But then when you go down here, it gets painted in like gloss plastic, and this is the area that is going to hit whatever trails you're going on first. So it would be maybe a good idea to switch these out, have the gloss plastic up here, then the regular plastic down here. That is just a thought. And here we have some plastic right there, and you have the skid plates right there, as you can see, in addition to the tow hooks, of course, being red. You do have the big Nissan logo here in the middle with the front-mounted camera. I do like the new graphics that we have for the Nissan logo itself. Now coming around to the side view, massive proportions for this vehicle. I do like it in this deep blue ocean pearl design that we have going on here. It's not too shouty, it's a very subtle color, and I do like how it accents with the Armada little logo that we have right there in the detail. We're going to look at that in a minute. So looking at the wheel and tire setup, Geolander Yokohama all-terrain tires, 20-inch wheels. I do believe these are 275s, yes, 275mm wide tires. All-terrain tires, looks great. When you have it off-roaded like this, I don't really mind having it be blacked out like we have in this case. I think it looks good because they're gonna get dirty anyway, and the design is more of a functional design, but I do like that we have the Nissan orange accents here in the center. I do want to have this though. I think I would like to have the brake caliper be orange as well. Maybe it could be, maybe that would be a little bit too sporty for an Armada, not entirely sure. We have this area here, does have some functionality to it. This is actually open, great to see that. That is just not a styling piece. We have the gloss black side mirrors here with the indicator stretching across, looking beautiful, 360 camera down low, and we have this Nissan GTR roofline or A-pillar, how this goes in and creates this very sharp corner up here, 350 or 370Z, GTR corner up here with a very sharp corner. I like that. Right there, if I could circle it in Photoshop, it would be right there. And of course, it is a floating roof, meaning that we do have the A-pillar being blacked out, B-pillar blacked out, C-pillar blacked out, and this is also a blacked out portion here, meaning that the roof really has no connection to the rest of the blue bodywork. So we have this so-called roof, floating roof up top. Now I do like this piece. This looks very nice, having Armada right here stamped out in orange, adding some contrast to this as well. It's very, very dark design of the Armada, but let me know what you think about the proportions. If you prefer this over the QX80, for example. I just had the QX80 for a week, not too long ago. Very, very comfortable vehicle. But these SUVs, I mean, for me personally, I think these SUVs are, they're just a little bit too big for me personally, but I do like what they're meant to do. I mean, a big luxury off-road like this is definitely a vehicle that you want to take on a long road trip, for example. Now, coming around to the rear end here, the chiselness that we have in the front end definitely comes back here in the back. You can see what we have as well when it comes to the key graphics. We have the trend of the decade coming back for Nissan as well, meaning that we do have a massive, thick light bar coming across the entire rear section. I actually think this is a very, very cool integration of a light bar because it sits behind this black panel, so it sits like deep within this area, looking very, very tight, and we have a little bit more dynamic vibe here. For example, you can see we have thicker piece here for the taillights going into thin here. Indicator, of course, for over $80,000 we need to have this be LED, and that is exactly what we have here. Big juicy LED here as well inside of this black housing, looking very clean. Love that the Armada stamped letters here are blacked out as well, in addition to the Pro4X that we have in this area. All the way down low, we don't have any visible exhaust pipes. Sort of makes sense, you don't want to scratch them or anything like that, but we do have the parking sensors coming around here in the lower section. So let's open this up. Let's check out what we have for the trunk space of the Armada. We do have 3 rows in this case. If you want to fold them down, all you got to do is just use this right here. There we go. Takes a little while, so I'm going to just fold them back up because I'm actually going to jump in the third seat when we test the space in the third row. We also have a 12-volt outlet right here. Beautiful for when it gets dirty and you want to vacuum this out, and you have this nice Pro4X carpet right there. In addition to the ride height, you can lower it and raise it back here. Pretty cool to see that. Some hangers, stuff like that. Can of course fold this down. You can fold this second row down, and you have a massive luxury apartment back here when it comes to space if you want to. So let's fold this back down. And with that said, we talked about the exterior design looking pretty clean for 2025 for the Armada. I would also save a lot of money buying this over the Infiniti QX80, for example, and the styling is just more on point, as I said. So with that said, talked about the exterior, let's jump in and have a look at these two massive screens that we have in this interior, because the layout for the interior here is the exact same layout when it comes to the screens like we have in the QX80, meaning that it is screen bonanza. In case you missed it, my 11-hour online class in design sketching is now only $47. If you have any desire to pick up the skill of sketching products using simple tools such as a big pen and cheap print paper, this is something you want to check out. Over the years, I've taught thousands of students from all around the world how to sketch cars and products, and most of them have seen amazing results from my classes. Analog Designer Pro Pack is the full bundle of all my classes I've released over the years, and it's yours for just $47. Check out everything that's included and see what my students have to say in the link in the description, or simply visit analogdesignerpropack.com. Now obviously the first thing you're gonna notice here when you jump in is just these two big screens, but honestly when I look at this and just the sheer size of this vehicle overall, the proportions, the interior space, for dual 14.3-inch screens like this, it doesn't necessarily feel oversized because the integration looks almost natural in this case for the Armada. Starting with the door panel, we do have the orange Pro4X stitching here. I love to see that door handle. Feels sturdy and nice. We have the static memory seats for the seats here, two memories, and also the controls, of course, for the windows right there, automatic up and down. We have some storage down here with a cup holder, speaker system as well. Armada, when you're stepping in here, power assisted seats, obviously. And this is one detail that I wish was retractable, the big side step that we have going on here. Because think about it, when you take this on the trails, this is mostly plastic, so this is probably gonna be ripped off this entire rear side if you manage to hit a boulder or something like that. So I would want them to be retractable like we have in a lot of the competition in this price range. But let's jump in here and let's talk about this interior design. Let's see what's going on with the 2025 Armada. Beautiful interior. When you jump in here, I also like the layout here a little better than we have in the QX80. The QX80 is just, it is a beautiful vehicle, but to me, I just feel like the more sharp design that Nissan is doing over the Infiniti, that is just my preference when it comes to the exterior design and the interior. So looking here, we have the 14.3-inch gauge cluster, 14.3-inch infotainment screen as well, and we do have this entire section down here. I love to see that we have heated and ventilated seats. We have the controls for the climate settings being all physical, heated steering wheel there as well, fan speed up and down. You have the auto lift for the air suspension, rear locker, 4-wheel high, 4-wheel low, traction control on and off, or 4-wheel drive auto right here, and a bunch of different drive modes. So we have standard, eco, sport, tow. If we go up, we have snow, mud rut, sand, rock, and that is it. So a bunch of different drive modes here, and if you press this center portion, it's going to have hill descent control, which we're not going to try and engage right now. Let's just keep it in standard for now, and we have the start button right here. Tow brake right there, trailer brake. You also have these controls here, and this is something that I'm not a big fan of. I wish this was laid out a little differently. This does not feel intuitive to me to use these park, reverse, neutral, and drive. You can also go into manual with the paddles for the 9-speed automatic, but this, I want to see this be a little bit more high-end than this. Putting it into reverse, I'm going to pop up the reverse camera. As you can see, full 360 camera with the trajectory lines, obviously, and we also have a bunch of different angles here we can check out. Full side cameras here, so you can see exactly where the wheels are positioned. Great for when you take this big beast on the trails. It's a big vehicle. You definitely want to see exactly where your vehicle is positioned. So the camera system is great. The resolution looks great as well. You can even see the little Nissan logo there on this Pathfinder, for example. So the camera systems are great. Putting it back into park, we have the wireless charging pad here, 2 USB-Cs, 2 cup holders. This is what the key looks like. I also wish that the key looked a little different for a car in this price range, and not just like every other, you know, Nissan Altima key. It just make it feel a little bit more special when you're driving in Armada, because it's the big brother. We have Armada stamped here in the center portion, looking great. Stitching coming back as well, opening this huge thing up. We do have a big storage space down here with a small little LED, but no USB-Cs. I would like to see a couple of USB-Cs down there, would be nice to see. Looking at the seats, very sporty for a Pro4X, I think. Heated, ventilated, love that it says Pro4X here. Beautiful, and also the stitching in the center looks nice as well. The overall design for these look very, very nice. Proper side bolstering as well for both the front passenger seats. We do have the stitching coming back here as well, and of course, a proper size glove box all the way down there. Self-touch material all the way up here. Camera for the reverse rear camera, or you can just put it into a regular camera like that. Looking at the infotainment screen, we haven't really talked about it. What's inside here? You do have, of course, wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto. If you don't want to use the controls for the climate settings here, which is I'm not sure why nobody would want to use these, but you can. If you want to make things complicated, you can go in here and just adjust things here as well, if that's something you prefer to do. Google Maps is a native map system that you have, but you will probably always have it be connected to CarPlay or Android Auto. And here you can see all the apps that we have. We have a bunch of different apps. GPS location, interior lighting, all these typical Nissan apps that you probably, I don't know, maybe not gonna use every single day you jump into this vehicle, but they are available here, as you can see. Now, looking at the steering wheel has a pretty nice design to it. It feels pretty big to me, like heavy steering wheel. And this is, of course, a body on frame construction, so it feels like you're driving a truck. Now, you can customize the screens here. So here you have the left side of the screen, meaning that we can customize this now. You can see that we can switch up a little bit here. You can change meter view to have it like this. Very interesting design there. Or we can have it like this. So you can customize a lot here, and I do believe you can also have the full map view. If you want to have that here, that is available for you. I prefer to have it be, honestly, in, let's see where we were, this regular design where we have the tachometer on the left side, speedometer on the right side. Just looks more classy to me. And if you want to, you can also customize whatever goes on here. All the small icons there at the bottom, you can customize this and have it laid out exactly like you want with these buttons right here. Then you have the cruise control settings and the volume controls right here on the left side, in addition to the paddles for the 9-speed automatic, lane keep assist button right there, and the light settings indicator on the left side, and you have the washer fluid right there on the right side. Pretty standard stuff. Looking up top, full panoramic sunroof going all the way back to the passenger seats. Very nice to see. You can also open this up all the way if you want to do that. Just like that. We're actually going to jump back there and see how I can fit behind my own driving position in 6162. Probably not a big deal because, as I said, I mean, look at this vehicle. It's not a small vehicle. So jump it in here, overview of the back seat, second row. Looking beautiful. Jump it in. We do have heated seats back here. As you can see, 3 different levels, and the third climate zone is also back here. 2 USB-Cs. We have a cigarette outlet right there, looking beautiful. If you fold down this center armrest, you're going to find yourself 2 cup holders here. Or if you want to, you can also pull this thing. You can fold down the entire thing and just have some more space, maybe an armrest or something like that for both passengers in the second row. So let's jump into the third row. Let's see how well I can fit behind there. So very easy to just slide this forward like that. Looks pretty cozy back here, to be honest with you. And sitting back here, not too bad. I just need to raise up these headrests so they're not poking me in the back. And sitting back here, let's fold this thing back down like that. And I have, honestly, I wouldn't complain sitting back here for a longer road trip. Specifically, if I was alone, I would probably just sit like this and just chill out back here, no problems whatsoever. So great space, interior space, exactly like we would expect, of course, for a big Armada like this. This is the kind of space you're looking for. So with that said, we talked about the exterior design. So now it's time to take this beast for a drive. Alrighty guys, let's take the 2025 Nissan Armada Pro4X for a drive. Now if I were to get an Armada, I would definitely go for the Pro4X. It just makes sense to me that you know, this is the one that feels the most, I mean, it is the most off-road worthy, and if we have a big SUV like this, I'd rather have it be more angled toward off-road than, for example, luxury, and that is the reason why I would personally pick this one. So let's see how this 3.5 liter twin turbo V6 handles 0 to 60, they say, in 6.2 seconds. I mean, it definitely pulls. The thing about big vehicles like this is you don't feel the speed. You have no conception of speed or acceleration because you feel like you're moving a small apartment. And if I were to go the same speed in the Mazda Miata, for example, it would feel like I'm doing 120. In this, it feels like I'm doing 30. And that all has to do with the size of the vehicle. But as you would expect, I mean, we're in normal right now. We can put it in sport. Let's see. Probably the checkered flag right there. There we go. Let's floor it. It really sounds good as well. Twin turbo V6s, 3.5 liter. I mean, it's, you know, not that hard to make them sound good. And this one definitely has that noise to it that I'm looking for. Let's floor it again here. Let's see how it goes. I mean, it's not a sport car. you don't necessarily want to floor it and, you know, take corners in this thing. But what you do want to do is just take this on a long road trip and just cruise along. And if you happen to find yourself a trail up there, you see something up there in the mountains that you might want to go and I want to go explore there. That's not something I could do in a Cadillac Escalade, but since I do have the Pro4X, I can actually lock the rear diff if I need to and just go up that mountain and check out what it's all about. And that is, I think, what makes this so special. Big luxury SUVs like this that has this off-road capability to it. It can essentially do anything or take you anywhere you want to go. And I think that is the key selling points for the Nissan Armada. And also that it's, in my opinion, as we talked about for the exterior design, I 100% prefer the looks of this over the new QX80. Even though the QX80 has this very luxurious styling to it, it looks like, with the light bars and all that stuff going on, it looks like a much more high-end car than this, which it obviously is. That's the whole point of having the Infiniti brand and the Nissan brand. But when it comes to this vehicle in specific, I definitely prefer the Armada here. And the turning radius is actually pretty good. Very tight turning radius for a house on wheels like this. Steering wheel is, of course, power tilting and telescoping, so you can adjust it exactly like you want. The same goes for the seats here. Looking at all this gloss black that we have here, this is probably something I would want to switch out because there's a little bit too much gloss black in this area right here for my personal taste. And you can see all the fingerprints. I'm not sure if you can see it on the camera, but there are a bunch of fingerprints down here, specific right where the drive modes are, which is pretty common when you have this gloss black. So let's put it in manual. 7th gear. Let's use the paddles. We're still in sport. Down to 6th, 5th, 4th. Why not? 3rd, maybe? Sure, let's go. Shifts pretty fast. I mean, downshifts are great. Listen to that. It sounds like a Nissan Z almost. Not bad, not bad. But again, would I use this with the paddles? Probably not, unless I'm coming down Pikes Peak and want to do some engine braking. That is probably the only time I would use the paddles in this vehicle. So let's put it back into automatic for now. So overall, the new 2025 Armada, very comfortable ride. Is it a vehicle that I would personally buy? No, because to me it's just too big. I just personally do not need all this space that we have. I would get a smaller vehicle if I was looking for an SUV, maybe in the Pathfinder size or something like that. But if you have a huge family, or if you have stuff you want to haul, in this and go on adventures, this is, or maybe even camp back there. I would probably be very comfortable just folding all the seats back there and just do some camping. That would be a good reason to get a big SUV like this. Just go do some overlanding or something like that. Big thanks to McDonald Nissan here in Denver. I'm gonna link this dealer down in the description below. Obviously, if you're interested in this, it is for sale, and their entire inventory. You have some very cool 2025 model years on the lot right now, so go and check them out. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.